After going through the torturous hellscape that was ghouls only, I'm back and excited to use a unit with real stats. Thrall has taken one look at the chaos going on in Azeroth, and immediately noped out, deciding to get as far away from Arthas' weird footman obsession as fast as he can. He leads his army of grunts in an attempt to find an oracle who will confirm once and for all what the best basic unit is. First up, a clarification of the rules. I need to kill off every non-grunt unit at the start of each level, and can only use grunts unless the level is otherwise impossible. Static defense is allowed, while heroes are not. I'm playing on hard mode on the classic Warcraft 3 campaign. Unfortunately, the first 2 levels of the Orc campaign are non-base levels, which are always a bit tricky for these challenges. Thrall is curious how his grunts will do in battle, and wants to test their strengths for the road ahead. For this level, I kill off my headhunters and run my grunts across the map until they reach a fountain of health. I have 5 grunts, which actually isn't terrible, and it's not too hard to clear my way into Kieran's camp with them. The problem comes at the very end of the mission. My grunts can kill off the first 3 centaur waves, but the 4th is just a little bit too strong. I try several times to see if I can figure out any micro tricks, but that's harder to do since I'm protecting allies that I can't control directly. After many failures, I decide the least offensive thing I can do to beat the level is for Thrall to use a scroll of healing midway through the 3rd centaur wave. This extra health is enough for my 5 grunts to buy enough time for Kieran to finish off the centaurs, and save his camp from being overrun. The second level is sadly also impossible to do with just grunts. I am escorting a caravan of Kodos across a long canyon and constantly getting ambushed by centaurs along the way. Kieran only moves behind Thrall, but staying put forever is a death sentence, because the centaurs will constantly send small attacks from both directions, and the Tauren don't have unlimited health. I managed to get the caravan to the second fountain of health by moving Thrall there and clearing the way with my grunts. Unfortunately, the 3rd pass is covered in watchtowers, which my grunts are not enough to take out. I tried to use my grunts as meat shields to buy the caravan time, but everyone dies way before the caravan is safe. In the end, I needed to use catapults to clear the towers and called this level a failure. Man, this run's off to a rough start. However, non-base levels are often impossible for these runs, so I'm not too concerned. After ditching the Tauren, Thrall finds Grom and a bunch of his orcs attacking a human base. Thrall quickly realizes that Grom is violating the basic Orcish infantry code by using trolls and raiders, and decides to put Grom in timeout for his mistakes. Normally on this level, Grom attacks human bases one by one, which activates a trigger that puts the enemy into an aggressive mode. However, since Grom can't get out of his base, this never happens and I'm free to build up as I like. I build up a max supply of grunts, free Grom from his corner, and give him a first-class demonstration on the power of grunts. Sure, I may have had a big army from Grom to support, but I am shocked at how few of my units die. I'm so used to having ghouls that when my army doesn't immediately die upon contact with the enemy, it feels like a miracle. I destroy the blue human base, kill a bunch of centaurs, then build watchtowers to kill some harpies guarding a goblin laboratory. Once I have the path to the lab cleared, I build an altar there, only for other human bases to destroy my only mining gold mine. Right after I spent my money remaxing on grunts for fun. Well, this was a completely avoidable disaster. I long-distance mine while pillaging light blue, getting just enough money to revive Thrall and buy 2 zeppelins. Eventually, I get enough money and the level is over. Cheesing definitely made that level easier, though honestly, I doubt it would have been too bad regardless. Next up, Thrall sends Grom to Ashenville to try and get enough wood for a permanent settlement. This mission is a bit of a weird one. I'm not asked to kill any bases, but instead to collect 15,000 lumber. Inspired by Thrall's grunt army, Grom orders all non-grunt units killed while pretending he's not hiding from ghosts. The start of this mission is the most challenging part. I don't begin with a gold mine, and only have 1 grunt. I build another grunt and a watchtower, using my tower to help survive the first attack wave. The elves then send in some hippogriff riders to my base, which I kill off using my tower and a loaded orc burrow. I use my grunts to kill some archers guarding a gold mine, and start long-distance mining while building a great hall. It's very tight, but I just barely have enough to secure the gold mine, which lets me build more grunts and towers to defend it. After getting the gold mine, the level isn't too bad. I build up a small army of grunts, get upgrades, and protect with a lot of towers. I clear out a second gold mine and get up to 70 supply, then start hunting trees of life. In this mission only, killing a tree of life gives you 3,000 lumber, and 2 of them are pretty poorly defended. I then build up more and kill blue. Their tree of life brings me to 12,000 lumber, which is very close to my objective. After that, I just train as many peons as I can, have them chop lumber, and hold off attack waves with my grunts and towers. Pretty soon, I have 15,000 lumber and I've beaten the level. Infuriated by the crimes against nature that I just committed, Cenarius obliterates my outlying bases, and then decides to let his night elves slaughter themselves against my actually well-defended base. The initial attack waves the elves send are easily defended with a bunch of towers and a few grunts, then I expand to a second gold mine. I build up an army of grunts and try and take out the elven bases. Unfortunately, Cenarius does defend his elves when the bases are under attack, so my attacks don't get very far. Giving in, I decided to instead go to a source of demonic energy that make my units become extremely powerful. After upgrading my grunts to chaos grunts, I'm basically invincible, so I kill Cenarius and beat the level. So far this run has been a breeze. Either the levels are straight up impossible, or they're pretty easy. However, that's not going to last forever. Where Wyverns Dare is the first mission of the run that gives me any real problems. I'm back with Thrall now, who's on his way to see the Oracle, but humans are blocking the path. The level starts normally, I build up defenses and upgrades, while training a small army of grunts. Then after beating back a couple of attack waves, I kill off some centaurs and expand, then build more defenses at my expansion. This level has two bonus objectives. The first bonus objective is guarded by a bunch of flying units and unlocks a unit that I can't use. Hard pass on that one. The second bonus objective, however, is guarded by centaurs, and the reward is a fountain of health. Now we're talking. While grunts are very good, one of their biggest weaknesses is the lack of health regeneration, which the fountain could fix. I clear out the centaurs, and when I kill the Khan, I find an item that I can't pick up without a hero. Well, that sucks. Guess I'm going without the fountain after all. It takes me a couple tries, but a maxed out army of grunts is able to kill Grey, which gives me another gold mine while drastically relieving pressure on my base. I build up new defenses around this mine, which are able to pick off Blue's attacking units as they drop off. This completely negates their mortar teams and makes defending much easier. Blue is the first major challenge of the run. Because only heroes can buy zeppelins, I am stuck with my one starting zeppelin to ferry my entire army up to Blue's base. This base is heavily guarded by Griffin riders, and if they manage to snipe my zeppelin, I lose the mission. To create a drop zone near Blue's base, I build an excessive number of watchtowers on the low ground. I snipe any patrolling Griffin riders in my drop area, then start ferrying peons and grunts up the ledge. I build a bunch of watchtowers on the high ground to protect my new invasion staging area, and once I feel secure, I go. If I only had ghouls or footmen, I would have gone insane at this part, but thankfully grunts are tanky enough that they can make progress before dying. I go in, snipe some towers in production, then retreat back to my towers when the enemy starts to get too many forces. Eventually, I kill off all their towers, retreat to mine, and then take a long time rebuilding my army. Blue has rebuilt their production by the time I go in again, but by going in right after an attack wave, I'm able to quickly kill their army, take out their Griffin aviary, then overwhelm the rest of their base. Only 2 more levels left. The next level is another non-base level where you get 2 grunts while facing a massive number of enemies. It's not possible with just grunts, so I play through the level normally. With that, I'm on the final level of the campaign, feeling fantastic. Grunts are so good, they've just steamrolled all the base levels so far. However, I have reason to be concerned about the final level, which is definitely the hardest level of the Orc campaign. Grom, angry at his timeout from earlier, challenges Thrall for leadership of the Horde, claiming that his soldiers are better than Thrall's will ever be. He isn't wrong. Grom has 2 bases on this level, each one producing huge armies of Chaos soldiers that can cleave through towers in their sleep. His first weapon is the Chaos Grunts, which are significantly stronger than my regular Grunts in every way. He also uses Chaos Raiders, which deal massive damage while knowing the Ensnare ability, and Chaos Warlocks, which have limited health but powerful abilities which stun and cripple my units. Purple's army is significantly stronger than my maxed out army in a straight up fight, and also has a ton of movement crippling abilities which make sniping buildings much more challenging than normal. That's not all though. There are Infernals falling everywhere, which match up well against Grunts because they do constant damage to any enemy unit next to them. These Infernals also make any decoy Great Hall strategies very difficult to pull off, because they do not have a home base they ever retreat to, and will kill off any undefended areas very quickly. Purple also has spiked barricades which, while not quite the death sentence that they were for ghouls, are still extremely painful for my purely melee army. So what do I have to fight against this? Well, I have 3 gold mines that I can access relatively easily, spiked barricades of my own to defend against their melee-focused armies, and 2 fountains of health on the map, which I can use to heal out my grunts. I also have Jaina, who sucks at actually attacking purple, but does kill off a lot of attack waves and infernals, lightening the pressure that my base has to face. Jaina occasionally requires reinforcements for purple's bigger attack waves, but can usually hold her own, especially at the start of the mission. By building up a bunch of towers everywhere, and training a small army of grunts to intercept attack waves, I can survive without too much issue. However, attacking into purple is much more challenging. Purple's army is just stronger than mine in a straight-up fight, and they have a ton of production that they quickly rebuild. Eventually, I mine out all 3 gold mines, max out, and bank up 15,000 gold with 35 grunts in the production queue. I attack, hoping for the best, and I get absolutely wrecked. By the time I've run out of money, I've killed one tiny outpost while their main base is completely untouched. That was brutal. I am legitimately concerned at this point, so I do some testing with cheats off camera to see what the AI rebuilds and what they don't. What I find shocks me. On each side of the map, the AI will rebuild one of each production structure, but will not rebuild any duplicates that are killed. That means some buildings can be killed permanently. The second thing I learned is even more fascinating. Even when I don't kill their fortress, eventually the AI stops both mining gold and rebuilding their production structures altogether, only using their chaos peons for attack waves. It seems like the AI in this mission only has a few pre-placed chaos peons that actually rebuild buildings, while the rest are only treated as combat units. This means I do not need to kill off the fortress to actually stop them from rebuilding. While that's fantastic news, I'm still going to need to come up with a plan for this to actually matter. First off, I need to kill off all the non-duplicate production structures just to slow down their remaxing. In what might have been a mistake, I focused on the left side base in hopes that I can take their gold mines. With my first maxed out army, I can take out a barracks and a couple watchtowers. Then, I heal up, rebuild, and I'm able to sacrifice my entire army to take out another duplicate barracks and a spirit lodge. The orcs will rebuild other production structures, so I now have multiple options, and none of them are good. I have enough to take out the orc outpost and build a base at their gold mine, but even though I successfully get the base, I'm also broke with a tiny army. I'm not getting gold fast enough to survive against attack waves, and eventually I'm overwhelmed. My other option is to charge in and kill all of the left side's rebuilding peons, which also doesn't work. The Chaos Orcs love hiding their peons in burrows, which means that even with a maxed out army, it is extremely tough to actually kill all of their pre-placed peons in one strike. Also, this attack kills my entire army, and I once again run out of money. I try other strategies too. I think that if I can only kill a couple of burrows from the base, maybe I can destroy it little by little while not losing my army in the process. Unfortunately, the orcs rebuild burrows, so that doesn't work. I try to go for watchtowers, but even when I kill them, I lose everything and once again run out of money. I try to take the outpost while leaving a building at low health, hoping to lure their rebuilding peons to me, but that doesn't work either. It seems like the orcs only repair with the peons they train, and I don't care about killing those. I also tried attacking with Jaina's forces, but her troops are pathetic, and doing this is much worse than attacking right after they send an attack wave. On my best attempt, I managed to kill all of the left side's rebuilding peons and their bestiary, but I'm completely out of money. I've been trying to beat this level for 9 hours over several days at this point, and I'm feeling hopeless. The level seems doable with infinite money, but unless I can find a way to magically get 20,000 more gold somehow, I'm not sure it's going to be possible. And there's no way that much money will magically fall into my lap. Unless... When talking to Grant's Discord about it, another member named Alexander Maxwell asked a simple question that changed everything. Can you steal Jaina's gold? I assumed I wouldn't be able to without Jaina unallying me, since that's what happens when you kill Grom's units in Mission 3, but I was desperate and decided to check it out. The game doesn't let you mine from a gold mine that another player is using, but mining is a notoriously unsafe profession, and sometimes accidents happen. A particularly bad one happens that kills a ton of her presence and destroys a couple farms, and... Jaina isn't using her mine anymore. Crazy! I guess I'll just move in and take this unoccupied gold mine then. With that knowledge, everything about this level changes. By the time I've mined out all the gold mines, instead of having 15,000 spare gold, I now have 35,000 spare gold. This gives me the ability to create 3 additional maxed out armies of grunts before I run out of money, and I'm going to need them all. I still fail and have to reset many times, but here's what I end up figuring out. My first wave, I kill off a barracks and a couple towers. My second wave, which makes me several attempts to get right, I kill off a second barracks and a spirit lodge. That's all their non-duplicate production structures down. My third wave, I kill off 3 watchtowers and a couple of their rebuilding peons. For wave 4, I finish off the outpost, killing their sole bestiary in there, then try to kill off the remaining rebuilding peons. When my 5th wave comes in, I realize I missed one and they rebuilt their bestiary, so I kill it, kill their last rebuilding peon, and escape with a few grunts still alive. Unfortunately, by this point, my once formidable wall of towers above Jaina's base has been severely crippled by attack waves, which means I need to rebuild peons to rebuild this defense while I continue sending out attacks to finish off the left side. My 6th wave kills off their final production structure, but I'm out of money, almost out of grunts, and there's still a fully functional chaos base to the right side of the map I haven't touched, and attack waves from them are destroying me. I reload and try the 6th attack wave again, and realize something incredible. With only 2 production buildings, my army is finally capable of fighting the Chaos Orc defenders without straight up dying. I take out the entire base, including their fortress this time, and take 2 new gold mines. I wanted to use this gold to destroy the other Chaos base, but I realized pretty quickly that this isn't happening. I am not getting gold fast enough to defend against the second base's attack waves, and they will kill Jaina's base if I don't beeline for Grom immediately. I also can't keep the northern gold mine, because they do send attack waves towards it if I build there. With 17 remaining grunts, I beeline for Grom, and discover that once a chaos base is destroyed, he doesn't have too many defenders left. To my surprise, my grunts are able to easily kill the Doom Guards, Fellhounds, and small chaos force defending him. Then I finally see him. I turn to face the invulnerable Blade Master, axes ready, only to find him sleeping peacefully on his throne. Apparently Grom is completely dormant in this mission until you move Thrall close to him. If any other units move near him, he doesn't move at all, which made clearing out his defenders much easier. With the path completely cleared, I take my leave to revive Thrall, capture Grom in a Pokeball, and return him to the objective. As soon as Grom is healed, he sees clearly and remembers that in Warcraft 2, he used to be a grunt. So, he takes up his axe, becomes the strongest grunt alive once more, and kills the demon who made him forget this. So with that, I can conclude that it is possible to beat every orc base level in Reign of Chaos with only grunts. Most of the campaign wasn't bad, but By Demons Be Driven took me 12 hours of real time to figure out, and was the most difficult mission so far in this challenge run. I am quite happy to never have to face Chaos Orcs again. To round out Reign of Chaos, we have Night Elves next, which I think has the potential to be the easiest of the campaigns. Archers are a ranged unit which can hit air, which I think will feel amazing after playing through with all these melee units. Still, there are definitely areas that I'm worried about. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all next time.